Oh boy, here comes PaperDawN with another hot take video that's probably going to get like 90% dislikes. Yeah, I just want to talk about this. It's kind of been on my mind. I was looking at Twitter and thinking about this after this new game got announced, and I was like, I should probably make a video about this just to get my thoughts out there. I think it's fair. So I'm going to try to word this better than my last one that I made with a similar title, because the last one I made got really bombed, and I don't think people really truly understood what I meant. Maybe they did and they just hated me, but regardless, I think people were really jumping the gun on like assuming things about what I was saying instead of kind of comprehending. Maybe I just didn't word it well. I'm not going to blame everybody else, but anyway, Capcom just yesterday announced Street Fighter 6, which looks okay, I guess. I have really not many opinions on that. And they also announced a collection of fighting games that includes basically all the Darkstalkers games from like every release, you know, from the first one to Vampire Saviors 2 or whatever, which is really cool. Archive-wise, that's great, having an archive of all those games. They did a similar thing for Street Fighter a few years back. I might pick it up. I didn't really play much of that Street Fighter one. I was really excited for it, but then I played maybe, you know, an hour of Street Fighter 3, and I was like, yeah, this is fine. So maybe I'll pick it up. It's a good deal, and I like that it's archiving all these games. If I'm being honest, I think I would rather it just have, like, the last release of Darkstalkers, and then maybe like, you know, Rival Schools and Tatsunoko versus Capcom or something weird, like some weird fighting games that they just don't re-release ever. But yeah, it's cool, and I'm glad people are excited about it, and I'm pretty excited just with the prospect of having those games easily accessible for people. But whenever something like this happens, whenever it's happened before with Darkstalkers, people always talk about the idea of a sequel being made if you support this game. And I have opinions on that. I don't particularly want a sequel to Darkstalkers, and I guess I shouldn't say it that way because I don't want it to word it like I know exactly how I feel, because I don't. It's conflicting feelings about this kind of stuff, and I never really know what I want. So it's like I don't think I want a sequel to Darkstalkers. Based on the information that I have that is given to me, I think I have more reasons to not want a sequel to Darkstalkers than actually want one. And that it goes into a whole thing about, you know, how I feel about sequels in general, how I don't really like when companies just feel they need to make a sequel just to make one, or that even when people feel they want a sequel just because. Like, if you asked me if I wanted a Darkstalkers sequel, you know, I was definitely in that hype for a while. I definitely was like, yeah, dude, new Darkstalkers, that sounds awesome. But it's like, why would I want a new Darkstalkers? Is it just because it's a new Darkstalkers, or is there like actual cohesive reasoning of why I would want it? And the more I think about it, the more reasons I don't think I would want a new Darkstalkers. There's like more reasons against it. So like, firstly, modern Capcom doesn't really have arcades in mind anymore, and Darkstalkers is from an era of Capcom arcade games. And I just think that if there was a new Darkstalkers, that it wouldn't really have that arcade feel of the old Darkstalkers. And that isn't necessarily immediately a problem if, like, Capcom had a better way of approaching this, because I feel like companies like Arc Systems, and I think maybe even SNK, haven't really played many of the new SNK games, but I feel like Street Fighter V was kind of disappointing in terms of, like, a new, modern, console-focused fighting game. It came out basically unfinished. There was so much DLC. There were so many server issues. There were like all these weird, like, you know, tons of different weird currencies you'd get. Maybe there was just one, but whatever. You had those like points you accumulated that you could spend and everything. I don't know. I'm not like crazy about that. I really like fighting games being super simple and just like to the point. Like you pick it up, you play it. It's easy to play, hard to master kind of stuff. But Street Fighter V had a lot of fluff, had a lot of modern console game kind of stuff, and it was really disappointing for that reason. I know that's a personal thing to me, but I definitely do know a lot of people wouldn't want that for an arcade style, you know, new arcade style game. And that's really just Capcom. Like, I don't think Capcom really has the people to make Darkstalkers anymore. Maybe they do, but like, to me, it's like, when was the last time they made a game even close to an arcade style fighting game? Again, Tatsunoko versus Capcom, maybe. I can't really think of one. Again, they're like the arcade-ish, but they have that more modern game edge because they need to. I mean, that's the only way they can make money these days with how expensive games are to develop. I get it, but it doesn't make me like excited for something like Street Fighter 6. So why would I be excited for a Darkstalkers made by the same internal company, basically? It goes along with the same idea as like a new Mega Man Legends game. You know, Mega Man Legends 3 was that, you know, legendary canceled game or whatever. And if they just announced Mega Man Legends 3 like tomorrow, they said, oh, we're bringing it back, we're making a new one. It's like, okay, who's making it? Like, the people who are going to be making Mega Man Legends 3, I don't think are even at Capcom anymore. So, like, is it just those words they think will just get me, like, riled up for a new game? Like, I don't think I really even want them to make a Mega Man Legends 3 at this point. And which is like, oh my god, that's heresy. It's like, dude, I am, like, the biggest Mega Man Legends fan, like, ever. Nah, maybe not ever, but I'm a pretty huge Mega Man Legends fan. I mean, like, a sequel of Mega Man Legends 3 would be great, but that's over and done with. That's a done deal. Like, we're not getting that. Like, the people who were going to make it are gone. If they... Yeah, well, they're not gone, but they don't work there anymore, you know? If they were going to make a Mega Man Legends 3, it's like, too late. I just don't think there's any place for it anymore. Oh, well. But, like, that's just the way it is. Like, you know, I'm not that pissed about it anymore. It doesn't really matter to me. It's just like, it's a game. Like, it sucks, but I have Legends 1, which is still really good, and Legends 2, and maybe there'll be a fan game one day, and I'll like play that. That'd be cool. It'd be cool to see that kind of thing. But yeah, I really don't, and also I really don't think them re-releasing these older games really means anything. It's kind of cynical of me, but part of me is like, yeah, like if they, I don't know if they made a statement about this or not, but if they did make a statement being like, if you want to support Darkstalkers, buy this game, it's like, yeah, that's a great way for them to get some sales on the game. Like, be like, if you like this, we'll make a new one. Like, ha ha ha. It probably said that about Resurrection, and that didn't really get anywhere. So, who knows? That's pretty cynical, but like, I don't know. I have no reason to trust them. They did this once. I mean, like, why would I just suddenly trust that this will lead to anything? Unless they, even if they did say something, they also said Darkstalkers is not dead. It's like, and even then, I don't even think I really want a new game. So it's like, I don't really care either way. I just don't think, like, there's always this thing. It's like, if you like Darkstalkers, you need to support this game. And it's like, okay, I like Darkstalkers a lot. It's probably one of my favorite fighting games. I don't really want to support this. Not that I don't want to support this game, but I don't think supporting this game will really do anything for me. Like, yeah, it's cool to support Archive Media. That's probably the most like reasoning I have for this. But anyway, I think a lot of what a lot of people want from a new Darkstalkers is kind of that feeling they had when they played the original. I think that's with most like sequels of a series that has been dormant for a long time. You know, you desire Darkstalkers again, right? Like, you want that feeling you had when you played it, when you saw that cool animation, when you first saw the character designs, just like all that whimsy and like serotonin you felt playing Darkstalkers for the first time, you'd want again, which I think is like the main reason why anyone wants a sequel to anything. They want that thing again. But like, what does it mean to want that thing again? Do you want the original Darkstalkers again, or do you want something new and interesting, the same like things you felt when you first played Darkstalkers? That's what I always want in a sequel, you know? Like, that was like when Mario was getting its newer games, like Odyssey came out or whatever. They made like new Mario games all the time. They made like new Super Mario Brothers and stuff. That game never really, they could like harken back to the original a million times, and it never really made me like feel like I was getting a new Mario game. So, but when Odyssey came out, it was like a new Mario game. It was doing all these new things. It gave me that same feeling I had playing those older Mario games for the first time. And I think that's kind of like what, I'm not going to say what people want. That's what I would want. That's what I think of when I think I want like a sequel to something. I want something to give me that feeling again. I want like a new Darkstalkers. That's what I would say. But there has been that in the past called Skullgirls. Skullgirls was basically the spiritual successor to the Darkstalkers. It basically was like a sequel, in my opinion. If you think about it, Skullgirls had a focus on really like monstery, cartoony character designs, really fluid, hand-drawn animation, which I think is a perfect like sequel to the beautiful hand-drawn pixel art of Darkstalkers, especially because Darkstalkers was always really inspired by animation like cartoons and anime and stuff. So Skullgirls always felt like a perfect sequel to Darkstalkers. I mean, like, if you stuck Darkstalkers' name onto Skullgirls and changed around the character designs a tiny bit, you could probably pass it as a sequel to Darkstalkers easily. And it was great for that, and it still is very prevalent. They're still making new DLC for it even now. So I think we kind of got it in some ways. I think that's a pretty good way, like, to see it, in my opinion. Like, I was pretty satisfied with Skullgirls, and when it first came out in like 2013, it was like kind of right off the heels of me being into Darkstalkers for the first time. I was like, holy shit, like, this is just like Darkstalkers. This is like everything I'd want. And I don't know, like, can Capcom top Skullgirls? Like, can Capcom do something that would, like, feel more like a new Darkstalkers than Skullgirls did? I don't know if they can. Besides, like, it has Morgan. Like, yeah, I guess so. I guess Darkstalkers would have Morgan, right? Like, I don't know. Something about that feels shallow to me. I don't know. Like, maybe it's just, like, weird, my weird cynical brain, or just I'm, like, thinking about things differently than some people, but just having the characters from Darkstalkers, again, isn't necessarily Darkstalkers. And even if it's, like, basically like Darkstalkers HD, like the same fucking game, I don't know, something about that just kind of feels kind of shallow. I'd want something that really does make me feel like I'm playing a new Darkstalkers. And this is by all means, they could do this, like, they could. I just have no reason to think they will. Really, like, I have no reason to think they'll make it decent. I guess they haven't, like, the last time Capcom, like, did a dormant series, maybe because Mega Man 11 came out, that hadn't had a new game in a while, and that was pretty good. But like I said, I just don't really have a lot of faith in Capcom's fighting game side of things. They could completely surprise me, and that'd be great. I would love them to. But that doesn't make me necessarily excited with just the idea of a sequel, you know? It's like, maybe I'm cynical. Maybe I want to believe that it's better than it is or something, or maybe a lot of people, like, just see the bright side of it. But all I'm saying is, like, when the conversation comes up being like, if you don't support this, you don't want a new Darkstalkers, part of me is like, do you want a new Darkstalkers? Like, I don't even know if I want a new Darkstalkers. But yeah, again, like I said, I wouldn't be against something good, though. Like, if they just, like, Capcom's like, yeah, we hired Arc System, they're gonna make it, and I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, that's amazing. Like, that would blow my mind. But, like, what are the odds of that? And even then, if they, like, really announced it, they showed a trailer for the game, and it looked amazing, and it was like, we're not doing our modern game thing, this is just gonna be an arcade game, like, no bullshit. I'd be like, okay, like, I was proven wrong, like, hell yeah. Again, I just don't have a lot of faith. But yeah, that kind of, like I said, that kind of just goes into my idea of sequels in general. This whole idea, it was kind of what I was talking about in that World Ends With You video too. I just don't think I want a sequel just for a sequel's sake, basically. Like, I don't want it just because I want to see Darkstalkers again. I can just open up fucking Fightcade and see Darkstalkers again. And I know that's, like, that's not a good argument, you know. People want, like, new things from their favorite series. I don't know. I mean, I'm explaining my thing enough. I keep kind of, I'm, like, rambling at this point. Also, this is a little bit more petty kind of thing, but I just want to talk about this. It's funny. I always find it weird how much I see about Darkstalkers on the internet, but how little there has been of actual Darkstalkers media. You know, it's like, I see people draw fan art of Morgan and Lilith and all of them, like, tons. I see people talk about the games. Again, when this was announced, everyone's freaking the fuck out, being like, Darkstalkers fans, rise up. I'm like, okay, but, like, when did you play Darkstalkers? Like, I guess, like, the PS3 game, but I guess you could, I'm not going to try to, I'm going to pretend emulation doesn't exist. No. Obviously people can emulate it or whatever, but it's just funny. It's like one of those series that I'm like, the ratio of people that have, like, actually play it to people who like it seem to be really, like, you know, different. It's like that one, there's that one article, that, like, funny, kind of like Onion style article that's like Mother 3 fan excited to play it for the first time or whatever. It's like, you know, Darkstalkers fan excited to play it for the first time. It is true, though. Like, I just feel like it's a game that's existed more within a fan base than, like within, like, a speculative fan base. I don't even know what to call that. It's like, I always that Darkstalkers and Parappa are always the two examples. Parappa is so funny to me because there's no easy way to play Parappa the Rappa. You can play it on PS1, which is the best way to play it. If you play the PS4 version, apparently it fucking sucks. The PSP version fucking sucked. when I was trying to emulate it a few years ago, it was nearly impossible to emulate because the timing would be all off. So there's like no way to play that game. I guess you can watch it and just enjoy it like for its aesthetics and everything, but it is just, it blows my, I guess like I personally don't think I could be into a piece of media, especially a video game, just on those principles alone. I would need to like the game as a whole and everything. So it's just funny to me to see how much like people love Parappa, and I'm always thinking like, huh, I wonder how they got into Parappa. Did they grow up with it? And I like see their bio and they're like 16. I'm like, okay, so like how are they playing this? Maybe they're not playing it, which isn't, I'm not saying that's a problem, by the way. You can enjoy media however you choose to enjoy media. It's just like an interesting idea to me. It's more of just like a petty thing I'm thinking of at this point. It's just funny. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just kind of want to get my thoughts about this out there. Darkstalkers is cool. It's extremely important to my love for fighting games in general. I love that game to death. I will probably buy this collection just to support the idea of it being archived. But I just don't like this idea that, like... Do you hear my cat? But I just don't like this idea that, like, a Darkstalkers fan wants a sequel, like, you know, full stop. If you don't support this, you're not a Darkstalkers fan. But it's like, dude, I own Darkstalkers. Like, do I need to buy this again? What if I don't want a sequel, you know? Are you actually a fan then? Like, I don't know. Who knows? This is just my thoughts about this. I hope this was rambly, and I hope it made you really angry, and I hope you dislike it. But no, seriously, if you do, I am genuinely, this is one of those things, I am genuinely interested in this. If you want a sequel and you have legit reasons, not even if you have legit reasons, if you have any reason of why you'd want this reboot of Darkstalkers, let me know, because I learned a lot in the comment section to that The World Ends With You video. I won't lie. You know, I was pretty dead set in my ways, and while I do think that sequel to The World Ends With You was basically just like nothing, like I didn't hear anything about that game at all, so I wonder if it was actually needed or not. But you know, whatever, I'm not going to get into that. Point is, if you have a reason that you want a new Darkstalkers, let me know. I'm curious. Anyway, I hope you all have a good day, and I hope everyone's as like lukewarm about the Street Fighter 6 announcement as I was. So yeah, see you guys.